welcome to episode 2 of the Aaron and Dale podcast, Fresno's premier podcast. I'm Aaron Arnett.
And I'm Dale Mehl, and you're listening to Fresno's premier podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
And
Aaron?
Today in the show, we'll talk about news from Fresno and around the world that you need to know. We'll let you know how you can get a cool piece of our swag. You'll find out what we've been up to since our first episode. The details will shock you. And you'll hear Dale tell you what the problem is with a certain restaurant setting and airline seats later on in our section called That Sounds Like a Personal Problem. And in our main event, Dale will be diving into the history of downtown Fresno and the Fulton the Fulton Mall. Wait, no, now Fulton Street.
It's Fulton Street. Once again. That's right, Aaron.
It's street
and
again.
We'll answer your feedback we receive by email at aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com. Then, as part of my show and tell, I'll tell you why I think Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys gets too much credit. And I'll tell you the real best album the Beach Boys did and their history with Fresno. You want me to do the history of Fresno? I even know that. And it's all next on the Aaron and Dale Show.
Harvey, want anything special for your birthday?
Just a decent cup of coffee.
You're kidding.
I'm serious. Honey, your coffee's undrinkable.
It's pretty harsh.
Well, so's your coffee. You know, the girls down at the office make better coffee on their hot plates. Well, see you later.
And he didn't even kiss me goodbye. You know, if I could just make a decent cup of coffee, I could relax. So, relax. Why don't you try Instant Folgers? Tastes good as fresh perked. Good as fresh perked. I'll surprise Harvey for his birthday tonight.
Hey, great coffee.
It's Instant Folgers. Doesn't it taste good as fresh perked?
Better.
Better than those girls make at the office?
Honey, their coffee can't hold a candle to yours.
Instant Folgers taste good as fresh perked. Try it.
That's right. This week we have a news theme song. This is the Aaron and Dale Show.
I'm so excited.
Well, let's talk about a fishy situation that happened. All right, goodbye, news
The
theme.
music is kind of overwhelming you, Aaron.
We fix it in post, Dale. Nobody knows. We fix it in post.
Okay.
Just pretend like everything is perfect because we are perfect podcasters. So there was a fishy situation last week on Highway 99. Dale, are you one of the people? I know I do sometimes. My doctor says I need to do it more, but do you take fish oil?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you're all about a healthy heart then. You must know that apparently, at least for now, until science changes once again, fish oil is good for the heart. But you know what it's not good for? It's not good for Highway 99. Last week, and this was straight from the Highway Patrol's Facebook page, a truck hauling 40,000 gallons of fish oil spilled its load on Highway 99. Due to improper securement and sudden braking, the liquid load shifted and began leaking on the freeway. Fresno City Hazmat had to come out, and they confirmed the spill wasn't hazardous. Maybe the contents weren't hazardous, but I can't imagine the smell picking that up, can you?
No, not the smell. The smell would be horrendous.
And the CHP says, always secure your load properly. Liquids can shift quickly. One hard break or sharp turn can send your cargo and your day sliding sideways.
Oh, yeah.
So
a little late on that one, Highway Patrol.
Yeah,
and
right.
why do they still call it the Highway Patrol? It's a freeway. It's called Freeway 99. You can call it Highway 99, but it also says this way to the freeway. Aaron, I'm so confused.
Well, you know what? I actually got this question in a real life feedback last week. Somebody asked me, what's the difference between a highway and a freeway? And I said, I'm glad you asked. I am a podcaster, so I have answers. And it's kind of like the rectangle square thing. And I forget this, every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. Do you remember that from school?
No.
Oh, well, they probably told you at Winchell?
Winchell Elementary School, yes.
They probably taught that. But, okay, so when it applies to this, every freeway is a highway, but not all highways are freeways. Because a freeway means that there's no roads that cross it, and there's no stoplights, stop signs, anything like that for a certain amount of miles. So that's why the California Highway Patrol, they can patrol on freeways, and they patrol on random roads out in the country sometimes.
And my item, Aaron, in the news is Walmart is getting their act together. They're acting like capitalists.
Oh, good.
Before, I can't say before, or somebody's going to get upset with me. Walmart's wage increases are making positive differences for employees and middle management. The wage increase started in 2015 to $9 an hour. In 2015, Walmart started an employee business review. Don McMillian, the CEO of Walmart, started a multi-year strategy to improve employee compensation and a brighter employee outlook in the stores. Walmart changed its bonus structure for executives to focus sales gains. The efforts have improved employee retention by more than 10%. So what does this mean? That means old cheapo Walmart, where all the money went to the Wall family and their personal estate, they're now becoming capitalists and sharing to improve sales at Walmart because Amazon gets so many requests for their product. So here's one example of a corporation improving their outlook. And I'm happy for the employees, finally, rather than no union and no benefits. I've seen the video, Aaron, and it's not pretty.
Well, before those Walmart employees complain, they should just take a look in a coal mine. That's what I would say if I was the CEO of Walmart. And I can say that. I worked at Kmart, all right? And I like to think they went out of business a little bit because of me.
Well, that wasn't all your fault, unless you're being really persnickety with that lady in one of the stores.
If I ever wrote a book, my book would be called From KMJ to Kmart, because that is literally what I did. I went from the #1 radio station in town to working at Kmart, Kmart.
Well, let's stop here and do a tribute to Raymond K. Applecore the third. He's on KMJ, and we go, whoa.
Whoa.
There you go.
Every day I start, before I go on the air on your favorite station, which I have been on for 105 years. Yes, I started doing it before they even got the transmitter. Anyway, every morning I warm up my vocal cords by saying, whoa, into the mic 10 times every day.
Well, before he went to KMJ, he was the morning man at K-Fig. And when he'd come in, he'd see a friend of mine and say, hey, buckaroo. And that was it. That was mornings at K-Fig.
I forgot about buckaroo. He used to say that a lot more.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on a streak, 2 episodes in a row where we mention Ray. Well, ABC 30's Dale, you're right, but Dale, you're wrong, has been on the air on KFSN since 1983, Dale. That's 7 years before I was born. He was on Channel 30. And last weekend, he was honored in San Francisco by being inducted into the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Silver Circle. That's prestigious. Or so this article claims.
He's been on Channel 30 for years, and he should be recognized for his excellence in broadcasting.
Yeah, you don't stay at a station for 30 years if you suck.
You don't. Not at all.
Or if you are a jerk behind the scenes.
Well, I don't
Maybe.
think Dale was that way.
No, I don't think he was either, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if people don't like you, you don't last 30 years in TV, right? So they say that this National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Silver Circle, they recognize TV people who have, quote, served their communities with passion, integrity, and excellence. Do you know what job Dale was doing, Dale, you're wrong, was doing when he started at Channel 30?
I'm not sure. I think it's weather. Everybody starts at weather.
He was their sports reporter.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he went and became their morning news anchor, and eventually 20 years ago he switched to afternoons, where he's been ever since. So he's been in afternoons since 2005.
Well, don't tell that to Angelo Stalis. He was doing the weather all the time. He didn't make the big time of broadcasting here.
Poor Angelo. Poor
Angelo.
Well, Angelo, if you're hearing this, we'll interview you and talk about your bloody rivalry with Dale. You're wrong.
I talked to Angelo back in '68. He was on KKNU doing the easy hits. He thought I was weird, so I gave up on that. I was only 15 years old, so of course I'm weird.
Wow.
I met Angelo over the pipeline of the phone.
Oh, okay. And you've never forgotten or forgiven him since for
That's
thinking
all
that you
right.
were weird.
He thought I was weird, and I don't blame him.
All right, Dale, earlier you talked about the Blue brand and how they are turning into capitalists. Well, the Red brand is doing the same thing, and they're doing it in Fresno as they added a new Target over this past weekend. As of when we're recording this, they opened up. Have you seen the building, Dale? Have you seen where it is? Do you know where it is?
No.
Okay.
This is news to me.
Oh, okay. Well, and I want to get your opinion on it too. They opened a new store at Clovis and Tulare in this whole big new shopping center. I've driven by it a few times as I'm out about in the world doing my day job. And it's a huge shopping center. They're going to have an In-N-Out burger. They are also going to have a Sprouts and a bunch of other stuff there. But the anchor store is Target, and they say it's going to employ about 200 people. And I even did some extra homework, extra credit. This is a tax write-off for all you listeners. I looked, and before this store opened, the closest one to this area of town, you would have had two options. Shaw and Clovis or First and Shields. So they're taking away a pretty big trip as far as time goes to Target in Southeast Fresno. Do you think it is long deserved, Dale, or a waste of money?
No, people shop at Target. They love it. If they like it, go there. But people love Target. And now they switch from CDs to albums. I'm not impressed with that, Aaron.
You're not impressed with the albums at Target?
No, not at all. I want to see some CDs there also. They don't have CDs. They have very few.
No, because they've gotten to a point, and this isn't the point of our news segment, but we might as well talk about it. Music, or how do I classify this? The sales of music in the big box stores has gone from being an everyday product that they expect people to buy to they're expecting people to buy things for nostalgia or for, what do you call that when it, like Taylor Swift, when she comes out with a new album, she releases it on Spotify or whatever, but then she also puts out a vinyl and a cassette.
Yes, she does.
What do you, I guess you'd call that nostalgia, the nostalgia of it. I'm trying to think of how to classify that, but that's what Target
waste
does.
The time of it, a cassette. Cassettes go. And Taylor Swift is trying to sing through the. That's accurate, by the way.
It is. It is accurate. I got a new love of cassettes because they were more popular during my childhood. So I've gotten some cassettes, and the new ones don't sound terrible. Of course, to you, the audiophile that you are, Mr. Mehl.
Yes.
You, I'm sure, can't stand them. But what I can't stand, going back to the music sold at Target, a few years, it's probably been 10 years ago at this point, I bought a brand new Target version vinyl record of Steve Miller.
I know. Steve Miller's greatest hits, 73 to 83 or something.
Yeah.
And it didn't play on your turntable worth a spit.
How'd you know that?
You already told me the story.
I told you that story like 15 years ago. You remember that?
Yeah.
That might have been back when we were working together. But yeah, so once that happened, I completely gave up on buying new vinyl. I don't buy new vinyl because that tainted it for me. Should it be?
Fine.
Or is there new stuff that's any good? Or
I think so. I think some of the vinyl is very quiet. I collect jazz, old jazz.
No, but I'm saying the new stuff, because that was a brand new reprinting.
Copies of old 60s and late 50s jazz. Gotcha. I collect vinyl. I collect the compact disc. I don't want anything in my collection area that goes.
What if it's just an album of just hi-hat samples? Are you okay with that going?
That sounds like Lou Reed. That sounds like his double album. And that was just noise. Two albums of noise. And the reason he did it, he wanted to get RCA Victor off his back. He says, I don't want to make a new album to sell. I'll make one that's terrible. And so there's a double LP of just noise.
It's art, Dale. It's art. All right, we'll move on now. Our last thing. I've never heard of this news publication, but it came through to one of my feeds. I'm sure that mothers of young children out there everywhere and old ladies who watch soap operas have probably heard of Soap Central. Soap Central put out a list of the top 10 American rock bands. And I'm going to go down the list of number 10 to number 4 because that's going to give Dale, our music and audio file expert, a little bit of context and eliminate some groups for him. And then we're going to see if he can guess the top 3. So number 10, and you can discuss each of these groups or a few of the groups if you want to as we go down the list. So number 10, Van Halen came in at number 10. Okay. And pretty much all I know of Van Halen is Jump.
Eddie Van Halen was out of his mind. Valerie Bertinelli knew it. He partied so hard that he would just lie at somebody's house because he was intense on playing the guitar and certain string styles. And then he'd party after he laid down the tracks in the studio. So dying at 65 is rather young, but not for Eddie Van Halen.
And especially not for just in general rock bands from that era. Making it to 65 was quite a feat.
Yes.
At number 9, it's an album that a group that recorded an album that I happen to know is on the floor in Dale Mehl's studio, The Byrds.
The Byrds intrigued me because they have that jingle jangle morning rock sound.
They do.
They did not invent jangle pop. They did not. That goes back to Buddy Holly. and another group called the Beaumarks. They did it before the Byrds, even the Beatles with the Rickenbacker 12-string did it before the Byrds. So Jim McGuinn or Roger McGuinn, whatever you want to call him, he got a 12-string Rickenbacker and developed the Byrds jangle pop sound, which all I do is collect jangle pop. Even the Bangles did jangle pop, Aaron.
Jingle, jangle, bangle, pop? That's amazing. So we go from number 9.
Do it. Okay, go ahead.
Number 9, we go from Mr. Tambourine Man to number 8, standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona with the Eagles.
I admire the Eagles, Glenn Frey, and the rest because the harmonies were great. They don't want you to play their music. They'll charge you $250,000 if you're playing their music or putting a bit of it on TV. You're charged. As far as the sound, I think they're one of the it groups. So if people love the Eagles and the harmony, I congratulate them. They're right.
Very nice. Number 7, I don't know a ton about. I, of course, know of them, but is REM.
REM is great. The big hit for REM, Driver 8, that rocks hard. And then they went really pop in the early 90s. So it's that pop sound people don't like, but the 80s.
Number 6, The Doors.
Excellent group. Interesting thing about the Doors, Fresno.
Yes,
they were kicked out of the downtown area because Jim Morrison wanted to expose himself. And they said, no more Doors in the city of Fresno. They were here in '66 promoting the first album, which came out in '67. But I didn't know this. They performed at the Fresno Fairgrounds at the Paul Theater. No benches there, just lawn. And they sat on the lawn, and somebody videotaped the concert and the hippies sitting on the lawn. So
wow.
The Doors are excellent. Their last album, LA Woman, is a great album. It's bluesy, it rocks, it does everything an album should do. It's quite entertaining. I'm not familiar with Morrison Hotel, but I am interested in the other albums. Also, People Are Strange. That's a great album. Okay.
I think the Morrison Hotel is right down the street from Hotel California. You just hook a left.
Did I say motel?
No, I'm making a stupid joke. All right, number 5, the Beach Boys, who we'll be talking about later today. So let's just hold your Beach Boys thoughts, Dale. Except for, do you think they deserve to be on this list?
I don't know. You got Aerosmith for an American band. So that would be one I'd put in the X's out. No, they don't deserve to be that high. They kind of went their own way after Pet Sounds, and it's just, a lot of the albums are just terrible, Aaron.
What I think is kind of interesting about this list is that for me, being of a generation being born, after the Beach Boys' big popularity, I don't look at the Beach Boys as being rock, because I think of rock being more like Van Halen, the Eagles, whatever. But for you, when the Beach Boys were coming around, and even now, do you consider them rock?
Yeah, they have guitars, strumming guitars.
Okay, so we've run down the list of number 10 all the way till number 4. And we're going
you haven't mentioned Guns N' Roses yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses ended up at number 4. And that's REM and Guns N' Roses are the two that I just was never into, so I don't know a ton about them, but I'm sure you do.
Oh, Welcome to the Jungle and November Rain. That's fine. I don't besmirch the Guns N' Roses group. I'm just not into them. And now
Welcome to the jungle. I mean, is that how they sing all the time?
Welcome to the jungle. What are you doing out there? I'm singing this song because it's our only hit. Outside of a double album we had once with November Rain on it. Ooh, we're good.
Okay, now you can try to guess. So, in your estimation, Dale Mehl, as you looked through this list, each one of those ones, number 10 through number 4, eliminated a group that maybe could have made it in the top 3, depending on.
I'll first go with Kiss.
Kiss.
I think Kiss and their corporate rock was excellent. It kicked booty. They sounded great. And I liked the muscular male sound of the singing in the group. One of my favorite songs, shouldn't be my favorite songs, but it's the piano and the technical excellence of Christine 16.
What if I told you Kiss did not make it?
It did
on
not.
Soap Central's top 10 American rock bands.
All right, I mentioned this earlier, was Aerosmith.
Aerosmith did make it. What place do you think they made it?
Number 2.
What if I told you? Aerosmith was ranked number 1 on Soap Central's list.
Well, good for Aerosmith.
Yeah.
They had the rockin' hits. People asked me once to play at a wedding, pull out my big 10-inch. And what it is, it's the olden days means it's a 78. But Aerosmith covered it and tried to lower the expectation that it's a 10-inch record and more of a 10-inch human appendage from the guys.
All right, so you did guess one of the top 3. Do you have 2 other bands? Oh, wait, and then you guessed Kiss, and Kiss wasn't there. Did you have another one you listed?
Well, the Beatles.
Well, this is American bands specifically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
American rock bands.
Oh, think about it, Mr. Mehl.
Do you want me to tell you the other 2?
You'll need to.
Number 3 was Metallica.
It's a good choice. I only know Enter Sandman, and I think that's an excellent song.
And number 2...
Yes.
On the Soap Central list of top 10 American rock bands is Nirvana.
Yes. I should have thought of them as a later group. Not the first album, the second album was excellent. It smells like Teen Spirit. I got
to give my applause to Dale Mehl because Dale did guess Aerosmith. And he was humble in his guess for Aerosmith. He gave him number 2 and they got number 1.
Well, thank y'all.
And that does it for the
side
news.
profile?
That was the news.
Hey folks, it's Aaron here from the Aaron and Dale Show. Look, the other day I was outside cleaning my car and an old man, I think he said he's a Vietnam vet, he pulled up to me and he said, "Hey man, are you a doctor?" And I said, "What?" He said, "You ain't a doctor, are you?" And I said, "No, but are you okay? Do I need to call someone?" And he said, "No, I just thought maybe you were a doctor. You give me a prescription." I said, "No, I'm not a doctor. Sorry." He said, "Oh, man. No, I thought you were a doctor." "Okay, you ain't a doctor?" I said, "No, if I was a doctor, would I be living here?" Anyway, I'm not a doctor, but I do have a prescription for you. It's to go down in the show notes and click on a deal where you can save $10 on your first order at Sticker Mule. We get a little scratch off of it, probably a penny or something, I don't know for sure, but you get $10 off your order for signing up. Go in the show notes, click on the deal. Yes, hello. I don't quite know what I'm doing here, but I've been asked by Aaron and Dale of the Aaron and Dale Show to do a little bit of promotion for you. They want me to ask you if you kindly would subscribe in whichever podcast platform that you are using. It would help them quite a bit, because you see, when you subscribe, you will know every single time when a new episode drops, as they say. And the other thing that you can do is if you go to their Substack and you subscribe there, you will get an email every single time a new episode comes out. And you'll have the option from that email to listen to the show via Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever else, and watch the show via YouTube. So please be kind and subscribe to the Aaron and Dale Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we in the real world call a pre-recorded commercial. And let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking at the show notes from our very first episode. Right here, my baby is sitting here with me, trying to get my microphone, but I'm looking at the show notes. And if I scroll down, it says, grab the official hat, which it'll say in the show notes for this episode as well. When I click on that, I'm taken to a Sticker Mule link, and there I see a fabulous black trucker hat. When in the middle of it is the beautiful orange and yellow Aaron and Dale Show logo in the middle. So if you want to get your own trucker hat with our logo on it, support the show, tell people what you listen to on your favorite podcasting platform, just go to the show notes, wherever you're listening to this, click on that link, and I assume you'll wear the hat soon.
My name is Howard. And Aaron and Dale have helped me quite a bit with my business. I needed a commercial done. And Aaron and Dale, they've not only helped me write the script, or copy as they called it. I'm not sure why they called it copy, since they weren't copying anything. But they helped write it, and then they voiced the commercial, which is to say that they talked the things that they wrote as copy, and I've gotten some business from them doing that. So if you would like Aaron and Dale to voice your commercial, they're not going to do a lot of music and stuff in the background. It's mainly just their voices. Give them an email at aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com. Once again, that's what I did. I emailed them. I said, hi, Aaron and Dale. aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com.
And we're back.
Sounds like a baby problem.
It was.
If that's a personal problem, I guess I'll go along with it.
Well, we're talking about your personal problems now, Dale Mehl. In this segment of our program that is called That Sounds Like a Personal Problem. This is the part of the show every week where we talk a little bit about us personally, maybe something that's gone on in our life, something stupid that's happened to us, or, as in the case this week with Dale's personal problem, just something that we notice in the world that kind of bothers us, and we think that we could offer some sort of solution to.
Well, I have two items, Aaron, and then I'll get back to you. One of them is you need to wax your car. If you're in college and you're not waxing your car, that means you're lazy. And what happens? In this heat in Fresno County and the San Joaquin Valley, it's terrible. Your car's not going to look good, so you need to wax it. We plan to visit with a table in front of us somewhere, and
so you're planning to we're going to go to college campuses. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about, are you waxing your car? If
prove
not,
me wrong.
I know, prove me wrong. But why aren't you waxing your car? Your second biggest investment in your life. What are you doing?
Well,
it's disappearing on the roof. It turns white.
I wasn't raised to wax my car, Dale.
It's a good habit to get into, Aaron.
The one time I tried to wax my car in Guatemala on my Volkswagen Beetle, the wax just stayed in the cracks. Then I had white crack. I was driving around in a third world country with my dream car, really, the Volkswagen Beetle, but I was driving it with white crack.
White crack. That almost sounds like something you shouldn't talk about on the radio.
Good thing we're on a podcast, suckers.
So I want to have on the table a few bottles of wax. And you proved me wrong, like Aaron tried to do, about waxing your car. Second biggest investment in your life. All right, the other one is, I feel sorry for heavy people. They go in, a few of them go in, they demand 40, 60 nuggets to eat. And the shirt's not covering their tummy. Now, the problem with that is you got to lose weight. You got to think through on this about having all the nuggets in a building. I don't care if it's McDonald's or another place that serves nuggets. Be respectful. And then someone stands at the counter and the counter can't hold them, their entire body, and it falls through at least 10 feet underneath. Now, Aaron, sometimes heavy people, they get okay jobs, like Uber, and they're delivering the food up to what looks like a high-rise mobile home. And then they fall through the floor. And they're just delivering food. So the lady asked them, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm all right, but I fell through the floor in the dirt." And I see a lot of these Uber drivers or whoever who come up to a house and they fall through the flooring. I'm
Where
saying,
are you
this has
seeing
got to
this?
stop. Another thing, Aaron.
Where are you seeing this?
Oh, it's on UberTuber. And another
Drivers
thing.
falling through floors.
Yeah, they do. They fall down. They say, consider the weight distribution of a heavy person. It's only on their legs. What are you going to do if you don't have hydraulics below the floor holding it up? You're going to fall through. Like my steps, where I used to live on Liberty Avenue, close to the fairgrounds, it was cement. You can't fall through cement.
No.
You can politely talk to the person. And another thing, Aaron, while I'm beefing, they should have 4 enlarged seats on an airline. They could have done that decades ago, where you have 2 assigned seats for a heavy person up front, and to balance it, another 2 seats in the rear to help balance the plane. I don't know. But not have no seats ever in an airline where you're sitting between people and the gut kind of goes over the edge. Make them wide. Give them a chance. Give them some respect.
It
That's
seems
the
like
truth.
that is true. It seems like you envision a world where the heavyset people are kind of classified the same as handicapped.
Yes.
To make sure that the building codes are up to par for 400 pounds and up. And then also airplanes. So, but do you have to have, so if you're an airplane that normally has 3, it's like 3 and 3 on each side of the aisle.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you need 2 and 2 fat seats?
Yes.
Fat fly. We'll call it the fat flyer section.
Well, there
You
was a
need that
lady, sorry to interrupt, there was a lady trying to get onto a flight, and they had this little skinny portion in the middle. She couldn't get through that. So give the first seating in large seats so she can relax. She can't help it if she's heavy. She's not trying to lose the weight, but she's not obsessed with that.
I had a period of time where I kept getting invited to people's houses for backyard parties, that kind of stuff. And they had the plastic lawn chairs. The plastic lawn chairs are the worst for people like me.
I know,
And
the the legs buckle under. They buckle under, or you go backwards on the lawn.
Exactly.
What is that? I'm not entertained by plastic seats that are green that buckle under. Not at all.
One snapped on me, and a shard of it went in my leg. It hurt. I thought I was pierced by it, actually, and was almost deserving of a Purple Heart for what had happened in that. But so then my friends started saying I had to start bringing my own chair. And so I started bringing my own chair. That was one of the things that motivated me to lose some weight back in the day, which I'm trying to do again now. But speaking of your airplane idea, a couple years ago, I was flying to Nashville. This was, of course, when I was trying to be a big country singer. Greg Lane had sent me to Nashville to talk to Taylor Swift. Just kidding. But I was going to Nashville. And I'm one of the people that when I fly, I buy my tickets ahead of time. I pick my seats so that I know, because, I want to sit on the aisle, because that's my secret as a big person, is that if you sit on the aisle, you can pick up the armrest and it gives you a little bit more room for your flab. And so that's what I usually do. But I get to the counter to go through the door to enter the plane, and they say, "Oh, sorry, your ticket has been changed. Here's your new seat." I walk in. Number one red flag is that it's the exit row, which I know as, first off, a fan of aviation and as a fat person, comes with a blessing and a curse. The blessing, more leg room. The curse, the seats are narrower because they have the little tray table in the side of the seat. So that happened. I'm not happy that I'm put in the exit row. Secondly, I get put in the middle seat. And in this row, at the window, is a guy who's just as big as me, then me in the middle, and then this woman on the aisle that probably weighed 90 pounds. And you would think she would have the common courtesy to sit in the middle. But no, she made me and the other heifer next to me sit next to each other for a 5-hour flight to Nashville, squeezed together with my elbows touching my ears.
This is what I'm talking about.
So I appreciate you. Yes, you're an activist. You're a factivist. You're fat.
Well, there's no reason to let the person feel degraded in any way. I know the shirt doesn't cover all of the tummy, but we'll let that slide. Get a larger shirt, people.
I want to know more, but we got to move on. I want to know more about the people falling through the counter at McDonald's.
Ma'am, I have your order here. I'm an Uber driver. Oops, I just fell through your floor. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. I fell through your floor.
All right. That was Dale's personal problem for the week. My personal problem. In my day job, I'm a substitute teacher. And last week I had this job, and I'll try to keep this one quick. Last week I had a job where I was what they call a roving sub. Whoa, did you say rover like my dog? No, Roy Applecore, roving.
Applecore the third.
Yes. And so that means I go class to class to class as the teachers have meetings. And so the last class I went to, it's the last 30 minutes or so of the day. I get there, the teacher says, okay, look, they're going to finish up this spelling assignment they're doing. Then you'll ask them to clean up, pack up, and you can take them out for PE the last 20 minutes of class. Now, I've gotten to this point in my substitute teaching career where I don't want to do this. I'm only here because I have a family to feed. I'd much rather be doing this kind of stuff, entertaining the masses of America with Dale Mehl for a full-time profit, but that just hasn't happened yet. But that means that sometimes I do things that most people probably wouldn't be proud of, but make me laugh hysterically later when I tell them to you, like I will today. The kids, they're doing their spelling assignment, and I say, all right, guys, time to wrap it up. And they're just taking forever. They take forever. We only had 25 minutes left in the day. They were supposed to spend 5 minutes cleaning up. Well, they're just going on 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I just decided, because being the sick freak that I am, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to say a word to these children until they have the room cleaned up and they're sitting at their desk quietly ready to go to PE. And so I sat there and I stared at them for 5 minutes. And that was kind of awkward. But then it became 10 minutes. And that was still kind of awkward. Then it became 15 minutes, and the kids were starting to notice that I was just waiting for them as they ran around the class, didn't clean up, weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it ended up being a total of 25 minutes that I didn't say a word to them, and I just stared at them. If you're on YouTube, you can see me. I just stared at them and went like this. And made faces at them. For you just listening in podcast, there were faces of shock and disappointment as they weren't doing the things they were supposed to be doing. And most people would say, Aaron, why didn't you just tell them again to be quiet and to sit down in their chairs? And my answer to you is this: once is enough. They knew what they were supposed to be doing. And quite frankly, it helps me to work on my acting skills, just in case Roger Rocca asks me someday to act in one of his productions. So that is my...
Let's add to that a little bit.
Okay.
Second grade for me, Mrs. Possum's class. I was talking to the girl next to me. I had something to say. And so I was talking to her, and I could see the teacher get mad with that. So she came over to the desk, took my hands up, and slammed them on the desk. Now, these were the days of inkwells. There's no ink in the well, but these desks were old, and then you could lift them up and lower it to change books. I did not appreciate Mrs. Possum holding my hand. She could have said, Dale, please sit still. No, she had to slam my hands down on the desk. And even when I saw her at the Fresno District Fair, I wouldn't say hi to her. Now, this is second grade. I saw her in 8th grade at the fair. And I said, I'm not talking to her. You slam my hands. Be polite. That's my thought of the day. Oh, what do you feed your pet peeve? Most likely, Purina Peeve Chow.
Hi, I'm Dick Clark. You know, when the weather is sunny and hot, you and I really go for a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the soft drink that goes so well with hot weather. Deliciously different. When the weather's hot, Dr. Pepper tastes great cold. And when the weather's cold, that's when Dr. Pepper tastes so great hot. Hi, Max. Good friends, a roaring fire. The perfect time for hot Dr. Pepper. Delicious and so easy to prepare. Just heat Dr. Pepper in a saucepan till it steams, then pour over a thin slice of lemon. That's a hot idea. Yes, Dr. Pepper is delicious cold or hot. Try hot Dr. Pepper. It's a great winter treat. Right, Max? Hot idea.
Well, we made it, folks. This is your main event, where Dale Mehl, the encyclopedia of Fresno, is going to talk to us about why he thinks that Fresno doesn't suck. In this Dale's story of the week, Fresno doesn't suck, or Dale's story of the week. I just said that 2 times for no reason because I apparently don't know how to read. And this week, our topic is downtown Fresno, and we're not going to be like all those other Fresno podcasts. Oh, you shouldn't talk about Aaron. You shouldn't talk about your competition. Well, they're not competition because we're much better than them, and we're not just going to be one of those podcasts that says we need to bring downtown Fresno back, and we really need it. It's so cool down there. There's let me list the places in downtown Fresno that are awesome. There's the courthouse, and there's the county offices.
Not at all.
The Fresno
Not
County
at
Office
all.
of Education is there. Those are cool places. No. But we're going to be real about downtown Fresno. And I want to kind of set the stage, Dale, because I want people to have a context and to know why you are a good authority to talk on the popularity or not of downtown Fresno. So you were born in
I lived through it.
Yes, you were born in
1953.
53.
Yes.
So that means your high school years would have been 70.
No, he keeps saying.
Sorry, 60.
68 through 71. I graduated from Roosevelt in 71 with a bunch of smart people.
So, however old you are listening to this, if somebody asked you what Fresno was like as a kid, you would probably think of your high school years. For me, it's much after that, and I would think about the recession and Obama, because Obama was president right after I graduated. But Dale Mehl was in Fresno in what most people, when you look in the history books, will say was the heyday of downtown Fresno.
It was
60. Well, we'll get to that, because that's something that I think is interesting, is that I feel that people today, and especially in the last 15 years, are trying to make the point that Fresno was so cool and booming from 68 to 71 or that era generally.
Not at all.
Yeah, Dale. Yeah, and Dale says no. So we're going to kind of go through this, Dale. So for people who don't know, downtown Fresno came together in the 1920s, correct?
Yes. The Fresno Fulton Mall, that idea was being studied about 62 by looking at the Detroit open air mall. Now, Detroit had success with the concept of people walking around and cement slabs, maybe some pattern in it, maybe some famous artists were there on the mall. And so several representatives of the Fresno City Council went to view the success of the open mall in Detroit.
The Detroit, the mall thing, I forget, was it enclosed at all? Did it have a roof over it?
Not that I know of. There's an
when I think of
open mall in Sacramento, Aaron.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
the K
just
Street
there
Mall.
for people. It's Old Sac. You can go down the mall and hit the area of Old Sacramento, and it's open. Then I'd go to the record store. I always go to the record store. If I went to Detroit, I said, get me out of here as fast as you can. But before that, take me to a record store.
So they decided that they were going to turn Fulton Street into a mall. And besides just trying to do something...
It was much more than that, Aaron. In the 50s, every street, every cross street, I mean, started off at Enyo, ended up in Tuolumne. They had stop signs, and what would happen? Cars would stop. And what would they deliver out of their tailpipe? Either gray smoke from oil damage or black smoke from a car that wasn't tuned up. And so the fumes would get all over the road. And it's hot in the summer, and you get the stink. And I'm 5 years old in 58, and I hear, when's the sign going to turn green for the cars? More stuff. And so Fresno wanted a green area. That's what malls were, open malls. It was a green area. So they decided to make Van Ness a one-way street to go east to west, and then they turn around near Tuolumne, and it would come back around on the other side, but not on Fulton. Now what you have is greenery, and people can actually breathe. The catalytic converter came out in 1962, but the automobile manufacturers wouldn't use it until 69, 70. So we just had black smoke destroying Fulton Street. So that was the beginning.
And so construction started March 1964.
Correct.
Opens and is finished in September. So that was pretty
6
quick.
months, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so did they have some sort of celebration to say, woohoo?
Yes. They had, I think, bicycling cone experts to let you have a cone in the heat. If it's summer, well, September, fairly warm in Fresno. And then you had a cart, an electric cart, that would let you transport people across the mall. Well, the transportation ended at about 66, and everything changed in 66 where they let the mall just kind of go.
And that was only 2 years later.
Yeah, that was just 2 years. They got rid of the electric cars. I remember that.
Was it when you say electric cart, was it on something on a track, or were they like street cars?
It was like a golf cart, only you had 2 passengers in the seat in front and 2 passengers behind, like 4 people, heading down from Gottschalks eastward to more westward to J.C. Penney's.
And did somebody drive it, or was it a sort of just a ride?
You're getting ahead of yourself with electronics. No, they paid someone to drive it down there. And it was a big hoopla for a couple of years. And then it settled in. The novelty, Aaron, was gone by 67.
And see, this is where I kind of want to hang out for a second, because everybody now says we need to make downtown Fresno like it was during its heyday. And they seem to point to this era that we're talking about in the late 60s or mid to late 60s, early 70s as the heyday of Fresno. But from what
any heyday, it was just there to try to get people to shop downtown. You had Woolworths. They were on the mall. You had Walter Smith menswear on the mall. You had Coffee's menswear near Tulare Street. It's all gone. But down in the basement of Coffee's, they had a sports memorabilia place. And I would go downstairs at Coffee's while my dad was shopping for suits. He worked for B of A and he had to look. So I would go see the picture of Al Radka. Now they're harping they need a Fresno sports museum. You had one. You didn't care. It's gone. This is before Tom Seaver in the 70s. This is the 60s. I watched Al Radka with his hand going out. Football man.
It's tough because I feel as if the Fulton Mall and downtown Fresno as a whole is this thing that Fresnans seem to always grasp at, and it's that we want to be like the other big cities. And for some reason, it just doesn't work.
They don't listen to young people. I saw that. I was at the meeting when they thought about taking out the mall and adding 2-way streets. Well, this architect said, I think the J.C. Penney building would be great for Kohl's downtown. No, it wouldn't. No one shops downtown anymore. And you destroy the J.C. Penney building. All the big buildings, except for the old PG&E building and another one, Security Bank building, they're tall. The Security Bank building was the tallest building between Sacramento all the way down to Bakersfield. We had the big tall building. Security Bank, it's a beautiful building, especially for weddings. I did weddings in there, Aaron. I'm kind of old school that way.
I learned that fact that it was the tallest building between Sacramento and Southern California when I went to jury duty a few weeks ago and they played.
Not that. That's full of duty.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get a doctor's note to get out of that.
So tell me about Montgomery Ward on the Fulton Mall.
Montgomery Ward was down the way as you travel west. And it was in the last third section of the mall. It was right across the street, because you still see the jewelry shop at the edge, barely hanging on, and then next to that was Guarantee Savings, with the lights changing at night, and the sign would turn. But Montgomery Ward, its heyday wasn't on the mall anymore. I went in there and it was dark, bad lighting. No one approached me. It was dank because it was so dark. The carpets were old and worn. And who would shop at a place like that for furniture when you look around and it's dark and dank? So what they did, about 68 or 69, they just hauled out of there. And they opened up a brand new store at a great location, Bullard and Blackstone, which is now a Target location. They just took the old building from Monkey Ward's and opened up a Target. Well, for a while, they were making a profit. New building, clean, bright. It's not the mall. You go to the mall to get a cupcake or something.
Yeah. And I think we got to step back a little bit, too, to give people a picture of what the size and scope of Fresno was at that point. Because now, as we speak in 2025, Fresno and Clovis mixed together. Unless you knew that the street signs changed, you may not even know that you're entering a different city when you leave Fresno heading east. To the north, Fresno and Madera touch now in certain areas.
Correct.
And to the south, Fresno pretty much runs all the way to Selma. West is still kind of, well, I guess if you head west in certain parts, you end up right up against Kerman. But in 68, where were some of the boundaries that
well, I don't
Fresno?
remember the second street. The border street was Inyo. Then there was a second street that had a stoplight, and that was gone. Then you go up to Tulare Street, cross street. Then you head down the Fresno Street, and it made a turn near Tuolumne to get out of there and drive off to the side in your carbon monoxide spewing automobile. Every stoplight. I was just a little kid trying to save his lungs, and those cars would idle. And then all of a sudden, and I get a blast of black smoke. I said, this can't go on, and it didn't. They took the idea from Detroit and put it on its own. Now, one way to kind of balance the mall is they had Berkeley's for ladies, they had Gottschalks, and they had J.C. Penney's. Now, they've allowed those buildings to rot. They don't put tar up on the roof for rain, so all the 10 stories of the J.C. Penney building, they're all
destroyed,
rotten and terrible, like Bank of America. That was a Bank of Italy at one time, like in the 20s.
But what I was trying to get at is when Montgomery Ward left the Fulton Mall at that point, and they moved, sorry, I forget where you said they moved. Bullard and
Blackstone.
At that point, was that just about the northern boundary of Fresno or Herndon?
You could
perhaps?
say that. You could say that. The chuck wagon was still there on Bullard, but all they had was a Basque place for food near Herndon. Herndon was way out there back then.
Yeah, and now Herndon is almost kind of like almost the center point of town, you may say. And so in 68, whenever that was, they moved, and they moved out. Things were already back then moving north.
Correct.
It's not like it was big boom time, roaring. Woo,
well,
things are amazing.
People say that the mall was just great in the 70s. It wasn't. Walking people weren't going there to walk around in the heat or the cold or the rain. There was no covering for it. You just got rained on if you were there downtown looking around. You can go, I'm singing in the rain. but they weren't singing in the rain, Aaron. What happened was Fashion Fair Mall came in. Who moved there? Okay, Gottschalks moved there. Woolworths moved there. Walter Smith moved to the Fulton Mall. So clothing stores were moving. J.C. Penney's moved between sections of Fashion Fair. They didn't want to be in that ugly building and it's self-destruct. No, not at all.
So let's go back in time just a little bit and talk about when there was still something there, and Dale Mehl, as a child, was at Gottschalks. And Dale Mehl was looking at music. And Dale Mehl was looking at something called a listening booth. Tell us about the listening booths.
Well, in the 50s, stores had listening booths. You could take the 78 in there or the 45 in the 50s and listen to it, see if you liked it, you can buy it. Now, I used to love going down there because the only album I remember seeing, because I'd look through the albums like I do at my age, 70 plus, and I saw Perry Como's Golden Hits. I thought, this is amazing. Plus you have listening booths. I never really went into them because by the late 50s, those things were over. And then eventually, Gottschalks just sealed up the stairway downstairs, so you couldn't go down there to see furniture or bedding or bed mattresses. None of that. Gone. Records. Gone. Woolworths had a burger counter, so that was fun eating there. It just so happened my second cousin made burgers for me as I worked once I got out of college at McMahon's Furniture, which isn't there anymore. But I used to get cupcakes there at the bakery, and they were the same ones that would be supplied by the bakery downtown to Hanoian's Market at Cedar and Butler. So it was kind of fun for me outside of the cars idling. I would go to be with my father to Walter Smith. He'd buy suits there. He knew some of the people there. And J.C. Penney's was always crowded. I go up to the mezzanine floor and look down to the first floor. People walking everywhere. And my sister, in 10th grade, she turned 16. She worked at J.C. Penney's and bought me school outfits. So there's very fond memories of the mall, except for the...
And speaking of your sister, you had mentioned that your sister was a high deb.
Yes.
What is that?
She was
What's
a high deb. These girls were special girls from the schools in the area, and there could be two of them for modeling purposes, and they liked my sister's figure and her face.
Oh,
so she was modeling, and someone I still know nowadays is Renee Marcus. Now, several girls are probably high deb, but that was for Berkeley, Gottschalks, and J.C. Penney's that bring people downtown to look at the modeling that the girls did, or in your yearbook, you could see at the end certain styles. You can visit J.C. Penney's or Berkeley's, whatever. They had a bike shop at the beginning near Inyo. So you had bike shops and other things throughout the mall, and they slowly disappeared. Sad.
By the 70s, the Fulton Mall was done for.
It was done. It was done.
And it was so done that a few years ago, they turned it back into a road. Somehow, I mean, I feel in a bizarro world mentality, you go from this thing is a street, we should turn it into a mall. That'll make it popular.
Well, remember, Aaron, I love Fresno. It's my hometown. Fresno, that's my hometown.
I'm Dale Mehl. Well, the 2 lanes are back.
Oh, I was there at the meeting with Craig Sharton, and he was telling me, don't you talk anymore. You said what you need to say. And then listen to the young people. The young people wanted a gym downtown. Imagine that, a gym. Where are you going to park your bike? In a fountain? So I don't know what that was about. But I said, listen to the youth. And then you can show first-run movies at the Warner's Theater, the park, and do stuff.
Yeah, why not?
No, they didn't build a gym. They didn't listen to the young people at all. They didn't listen to me.
And so they tore out the mall.
Yeah, and now it's
just
dead.
as much nothing as it was before.
That's correct.
Don't
But
get me wrong.
the achievement was there, Aaron. They didn't put catalytic converters in cars yet until about 69. Then you had nicer air. The first shopping center in Fresno is not a mall. It's a shopping center. The first one was Esquire. And that's at McKinley and West. Still one row of businesses. Esquire magazine thought they had the rights to the word Esquire. So he said, you have to remove the E of Esquire. We own that. Esquire is a word.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it became Squires, you know about Squires. Agent Squires. That was the first. Second was probably Mayfair Center at McKinley and First. It was 1956, Aaron, that the Manchester Mall came in. So that was on the outskirts of Fresno, which was basically in 65. They were open in 56, but 65, Shields and Dakota were the edge of town.
And see, that's what is so interesting to me about what you're saying is that the narrative now is that we got to go back to that heyday of the Fulton Mall in the 60s and 70s. But as you are saying, 56, Mayfair Center's there. What year did you say? 56, Manchester Mall is there.
Correct.
These things were already outgrowing downtown Fresno. They were already moving the town north. When Fulton Mall was created, it seems like downtown was kind of already dead.
Correct.
And so the efforts today to revitalize downtown, revitalizing it to when? Because the era that people are saying was the booming time doesn't seem like it was.
There is no era anymore. They're not going to revive Gottschalks. Gottschalks is gone. They entered the stock market, wanted to make money, and Gottschalks was too weak. Remember, they tried opening up Gottschalks everywhere to expand and make their stock go up. That was a stupid idea. I saw their store in Reno. It was complete junk. It was old racks of chrome and stuff not on them. I said, this is Gottschalks expanding? And I think they expanded up in Seattle. But that was garbage. They were a local group of stores that were tasty with great clothing lines.
I think just to conclude, your thoughts on where we go from here with downtown Fulton Mall.
There's nothing left. The businesses would have to advertise. Aaron would have to hustle up some accounts downtown and get people back. Hey, guess what? And then this would happen. Or have your wedding.
Can't we just make a new downtown along the river? Can't we just butt up against Madera County and start a new downtown?
No. They've already turned the Security Bank building into condos so people can stroll at night around the mall, which is dead, and then look around and go back to their condo up there on the 12th or whatever floor. I've been up to the top of the Security Bank building. There's pigeons, and there's pigeon poop up there. That's all.
Hello, it's your friend Roy Applecore, and I want you to know that Aaron and Dale really like when you send them your feedback. Now, I don't know what that is. I don't even know what a podcast is, even though I practically invented the thing. But if you go up to the second floor of your home, where I assume you have your computer. Make sure you enter Aaron and Dale Show at gmail.com, and you can send them just about everything you want. Now, these guys, they're not too fond of animals, even though Dale has 5 or 7 cats in front of his house that he feeds every day. But let me tell you something. This is for you. Only for your ears only. You need to subscribe to Aaron and Dale Show on YouTube, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, and on Apple Podcasts. Where's Gina?
It is the listener feedback portion.
Radio time in Vegas.
Oh. Well, this is the listener feedback portion of the show where you can send in your feedback to us.
Yeah, go ahead. Test me.
It's at Aaron and Dale Show.
Test me. Test my feeble mind.
So Dale...
This? Or do you remember that? Do you remember when Blackbeards was top of the line before Boomers or Camelot? Yes, I do.
So you can try to challenge Dale to his knowledge of Fresno.
I don't think you've been in radio very long. No, not since 1975. And I ended September last year. So
be sure to send your complaints to aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com. You can send us an email where you just type things on your keyboard, or you can do like this person did.
Hi, Aaron and Dale. I loved the show. I love the chemistry between the two of you. Aaron definitely has a unique sense of humor, and it's fun to hear Dale be able to respond to that and how they feed off of each other. I personally don't like mini golf. So, I have a lot, I guess, to learn when it comes to mini golf, but listening to them talk about it made me think, you know what, I can try it. Although I've got 2 little kids and I can't imagine playing mini golf with them because they'd be like trying to put the golf balls in their mouths. But it sounds like fun, and that would be a fun date night. We should go to mini golf. All right, well, guys, keep up the good work.
So that was our first piece of listener feedback. Dale, your thoughts?
Good. I like it.
And
look at us. Think of what Fresno was.
Yeah.
Could be again, but not the mall. Not the Fulton Street. Not nothing.
If someone asked you, where do you take someone on a date night in Fresno, since she mentioned going on a date night to mini golf, but besides mini golf, where would be your number one place when you say, go here for a date night in Fresno?
Yeah, miniature golf at Blackbeard's would be a wonderful way to have a date and then go to a fairly expensive Mexican restaurant and enjoy whatever food's on the menu. There's lots of restaurants down at Fort Washington. So
all right.
That's good. There's a lot of places to eat. It's just Colonial Greens is gone. What are you going to do for miniature golf? That was the date place. Oh, go to the movies. There's empty theaters and you can sit alone and smooch in the back. It's not going to bother me.
All right, and our second and final piece of feedback, they didn't leave their name, but I think we'll enjoy this message.
Yeah, this message is for Dale. Yeah, you talked about a bongo burger last week. Well, let me tell you about a bongo burger. This one's at 2505 Dwight Way in Berkeley, California, 94704. You wanna know what's on their bongo burger? Yeah, their bongo burger comes with lettuce, grilled onions, tomatoes, mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup on a toasted sesame bun, brother. You can get the All-American, the turkey burger, the mushroom burger, the bacon burger. You can get a hot dog for $4.95. The burgers are much more than $4.95, though. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so Dale, last week
said
you talked about one of the places where you could get a bongo burger.
Yeah.
And apparently
I
there's a
wanted to
place.
bring that up. They had food there at Tropical Teas in the pit, coming around the corner near Roding Park. So they advertised a bongo burger. Never heard of that because I don't like the bongos to begin with. Ruins the track. So that was Tropical Teas. Yeah, they serve food. I would just say make sure the people playing had sodas because it's hot down there in the pit. Took them a while to fill in the pit. Took them a while to remove the destroyed sign. So the Polynesian atmosphere gone from Fresno.
Well, thank you for your feedback. You can always send us feedback at aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com. We are way behind schedule, so we're going to move on to our show and tell.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you heard that surf rock music, you will know that we are probably talking about somebody who is surfy and rocky. And Dale is going to share about the Beach Boys. But real quick, before we do that, as part of my show and tell, it's only 56 seconds, Dale. This past weekend, I went to the Waffle Place after my son's soccer game, and I took a little video for our viewers to see. So let's take a look at that. All right, Dale, here's my show and tell for this week. I'm here at the Waffle House, Cedar and Herndon. My first time ever here. There's my food. I got the classic combo with the waffle and ham and bacon and sausage. It's all there, and that's what I got. Looks delicious. This is not a sponsored thing. Look at this smiley face pancake. For the kids, for you listeners out there who aren't seeing the visual on YouTube, great food. My combo came with ham, bacon, sausage, eggs, hash browns. You could have got the country potatoes. I decided to switch it up. I'm usually a country potato guy. And a waffle. So, delicious, slightly nutritious, and that's my show and tell for the week. So that was my show and tell. Dale? The Waffle Place, Cedar and Herndon, basically. Not a paid sponsorship.
I call it hernia. Cedar and hernia. You got a hernia, Aaron? Let's go eat there.
Yeah. So nice place, nice environment. The only thing I have to say of note is that there were two separate times, right at the beginning and right at the end, where somebody spilled a whole tray of glass dishes that shattered. And people didn't seem to really stop their conversation whatsoever. And now we'll talk about Dale's show and tell of the week, which is
the Beach Boys.
Yes.
Now, I showed the CD of Pet Sounds, which is being reflective by the mirror behind me. Pet Sounds. Do I like it? When I first heard it, even the mono mix with Brian, I thought it was wimped. I thought it was totally wimped out. And then people say, well, why is Sloop John B on this disc? That was the geek that wanted to put it on there. That's Al Jardine. He likes folk music. Hey, on our 2020 album, let's put Cotton Fields on there, recommended by me, the geek. I don't care. He made $1 million plus, fine. I just don't think he's the star of the show, and some people actually don't like that disc. Number 2 on the list of the top 100 albums from Rolling Stone. And the better album is the next one, where Brian fell apart. He fell apart several times with Smile. This is not Smiley Smile. Smiley Smile had them all on their back, talking up to the microphones. Arriba, Aruba, Aruba, Aruba. You don't do that.
Had they recently visited?
It's been corrected on the Smile with the original tapes of Wind Chimes and other songs. It's actually adult-style music with lyrics that children would understand. Well, on Pet Sounds, it was Brian and Tony Asher who wrote the tracks. And then on Smile, he switched composers to help him, and they were much more serious and dynamic, like Surf's Up, which became an album in the 70s, culminated Ruins Domino. Now, Brian didn't like Mike at all. What are we singing? What does culminated Ruins Domino represent? Doesn't have to represent anything. It sounds great. But Brian didn't like Mike at all. It's not Good Vibrations. It's not muscle car music. If you want a muscle car album that's great, get Little Deuce Coupe.
Why do you think that people, or Billboard even, lists Pet Sounds at number 2?
It's always number 2, because some guy on the staff really likes that album and puts it way up there where it doesn't belong. And people are finding it completely wimped out. And I didn't like it. It only charted to number 10 on the Billboard back in '66. It was nothing. You can like it. You can like God Only Knows. You can like Wouldn't It Be Nice. But wouldn't it be nice if they had some muscle car songs in there along with the other songs? Wouldn't that be nice, Aaron?
Yes, Dale, but don't you know that Paul McCartney thinks that God Only Knows is, quite frankly, the best song that was ever written?
And here's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm over time. Here's the thing about Sgt. Pepper. They said the ultimate psychedelic album. There's only 2 songs on there that are psychedelic. One, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And they didn't even use phasing on the stereo mix. Caca. It's the number 1 psychedelic album. No, it's not. It's just a good album. It's the number 1 album of all time. No, I think Revolver's much better. It gets into the psych sound, the progressive sound, which Sgt. Pepper did not do. She's leaving home. Did you get a ticket from Rita? Lovely Rita, meter maid? No.
Well, Mr. Surf Rock, Mr. Ventures, do you think that maybe the only reason that this album gets to number 2 on the Billboard list and all that is because of Wouldn't It Be Nice and God Only Knows?
Yes.
So if those songs...
But people complain about Sloop John B. What's it doing on the album? Well, the geek, Al Jardine, likes folk music. I've already said that, and I'm repeating again. He wanted Cotton Fields on the 2020 album, which added nothing to the 2020 album.
If you don't mind...
Thank you and good night.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. I just wanted to give you... I have an impression, kind of what I think happened with that, and I want to see if you think it was accurate. I think Al Jardine said... hey, Brian, can you think we could put Sloop John B on this? And then Brian just said, what? And then that's how we got on the album.
Most likely it was, can we put a folk song on the album that I really enjoy? What's
sure,
that,
why not?
Al?
I'm doing drugs.
I want Sloop John B. It doesn't fit the album's theme of Pet Sounds, but I like it. Can you consider it? We can sing it. Have a nice arrangement. Whatever.
Well, there you have it, folks. We have gone way over time today, but I'm okay. I just feel bad for Dale sitting in that chair for so long. But
don't worry about me.
We had a great time. I did, at least. Dale sounds like he had a great time.
I did.
If you have any feedback on this episode, aaronanddaleshow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this.
Yeah,
and
be specific. Be specific. And don't say anyways.
Exactly. Next week on the program, we're going to be talking about Halloween in Fresno in Dale's youth.
Okay.
So until... Oh, and also the Monster Mash, because I think the Monster Mash is one of the dumbest yet best things that has ever happened in that era of music.
I can talk about that song.
We'll do that next time.
Now the Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash.
Until next
Caught
time.
on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
Aaron and Dale, the fun never fails. The show's about to set.